Hey everyone, how have you been doing? How is your heart feeling? I just did a guided meditation hypnosis called I Am Enough by Marissa Peer, and it was different to the one that I've been doing on YouTube. And as I was moving through that process and reflecting on the three memories that I had that came up when, were the core of me not feeling enough, I realized that they all had to do with helping to have attention, like feeling that I needed to help to have attention and to be of assistance. I suppose that would go with feeling needed and wanted and just being wanted to be around. And one of the reflections that I had was being really sensitive to a particular person's tone and energy and the harshness. In fact, I think that actually followed through with two of them. The harshness of their energy toward me when I was in a really vulnerable state, and how that affected me, and the stories that I had told myself because I was really little. And Marissa says in the hypnosis that we don't have logic under the age of 4. I think it was, might have been a little older. Don't quote me on that. And we just have emotion. So yeah, that was interesting to be reminded of. And the third one had to do with my creativity and me just expressing myself freely in the way that I desired to, and that I in my own timing, and how I was met with, well, I'm not going to go into it, but what I was met with as a reaction to me just being me, and then having that feeling of not feeling enough, which is what I have interpreted from these things so far. And so yesterday I had a bioresonance healing session with my beautiful therapist and healer, and she has helped our family for years, and I would not be where I am today without bioresonance therapy, to be honest, because it has been such a core part of my foundation, with building a stable foundation to thrive from. And 2 days before that, I had a psychotherapy session with another incredible woman for different reasons, but I guess they cross over. And as you probably may know if you have been following my videos, I have been going through a really hectic transformation, for lack of better words, from end of last year, when it really started to kick off. Peaked when I was traveling alone overseas, and peaked again when I came back. And the last month has just been full on rapid healing in ways that I don't really want to go into right now, but it has been a wild time experiencing essentially what feels like dissolving and transmuting the old versions of me into remembering who I am and consciously choosing who I desire to be. And yesterday And again, if you've been following my videos and my posts, you would already know that I've been having a really rough time. I've been struggling, and there are days where I'm not okay, and that I have been feeling like I'm drowning in an ocean that just keeps throwing tidal waves at me. And then when I feel like I'm getting somewhere, like I felt like I was getting somewhere yesterday, I just got thrown back under the waves again. And I was not in a good space. Something that I've been working on for the last 13 or so years is what is spiritually called soul retrieval, where and the mainstream version, which I was told about a few years ago, is called parts therapy. And I've been working and playing with this mostly through my spirit guides and being guided to call back the parts of myself that were fragmented. And at some point, there were a lot of fragmented parts, and I have been calling them back and creating a more solid foundation and feeling more whole within myself and being proud of who I am and feeling enough and loving, truly, truly loving myself in every phase of me, just as the moon shifts phases. And this has been the core of my creative projects, my books, my card deck that I've been doing, and it's been a wild ride, to say the least. And so when I feel like so yesterday I felt like, so I had my session, bioresonance therapy session, and I was feeling quite weird because we had called back two parts that were fragmented, two aspects that had been cast off. And so what happens is when we go through a traumatic experience, we essentially, and this is my understanding, so do your own research and follow scientific journals all you like. This is just my perspective, my experience, and I can only ever talk and share from my experience, and that's what I do, and I actually really love to do it. And I love when people are interested in hearing what I have to say and my perspective, because as I was reminded yesterday by a friend, I have helped change many people's lives, and I decided to continue to do that just by being me, because I am enough as I am. So with soul retrieval, it's calling back, first recognizing that our soul's fragmented, and it gets fragmented from the experiences that we have. We go, oh, that's not me, and we push it away. Or we go, oh, well, that's not a part of me that's lovable or accepted, and we push that away because of how people react or respond to us when we are being unashamedly ourselves. And it happens from such a young age. And you could add past lives into it if you like, but I'm just going to keep it more grounded for now. So what happens is our soul gets fragmented, and we feel, well, sometimes we can feel like a shell of a being because we don't have that fullness, that wholeness of being and feeling in our body, knowing who we are, and we have allowed, consciously or unconsciously, other people to shape who we think we are in our perspective, and it doesn't help if we don't have a clear reflection of who we are either. So, and part of soul retrieval and parts therapy is connecting to these different aspects, or you might want to call them personalities or personas. Like, we are multifaceted beings, We have a lot of different parts of the diamond or the crystal being that we are, and it gets reflected, or different parts come up of these multifaceted aspects when we hang out with different people. And of course, again, depending on how we are well received or not well received, depends on how we continue to integrate, shape, and mold our being as we go along our timeline. And it can be really damaging, and it can be really healing at the same time. So yeah, that's a little bit about soul retrieval. I feel like maybe I'll do another video on it where I actually have a bit more clarity, and I can maybe write down some things before I actually speak them. But it is a part of my little book series that I have been bringing into fruition slowly but surely. um, you know, everything in its own divine timing, and I think it's really important to remember, to remind ourselves, and to remind other people that we all have our unique path and purpose, and we are exactly where we're meant to be at the time that we're there. And being back, like, I noticed these sort of thoughts and feelings coming up when I was traveling, and especially in the beginning, being like, oh, I wish I was, I was thinking, oh, I should have done more with my books, or, and I just didn't have, when I was at home, I didn't have that creativity flowing. So how could that happen if I was in survival mode and dealing with trauma and triggers constantly every day, and more than I even knew at the time? Of course, that's going to take away creative energy and flow. And even sometimes, even when we're doing the right things and we've got healthy habits and rituals and routines and practices, and we know how to regulate ourselves and we're doing the things, it doesn't mean that things are going to go as smoothly as we like. And fortunately or unfortunately, that is a thing that happens sometimes. So while I would have loved to have published my book this year and organized the workshops and the circles that I want to do for next year, and be living on my own in my own place and not living with my mom again, I also recognize that there is unnecessary pressure being put on me, or that I'm putting on myself as well, to have better or be elsewhere than where I am right now. And it's a good reminder, because we can only do the best that we can with what we have. And if something is being forced and pushed and rushed, then maybe it's actually not meant to happen. Or at the very least, it's not meant to happen right now in the moment that you want it, or that I want it to happen. And that it has its own divine timing. And that we just need to keep having our heartfelt desires and goals in our mind, in our heart, in little everyday actions or consistent small actions that we take toward these goals manifesting, and just be really honest and present with ourselves and others in every moment where it's possible, so that we are still striving for our goals while building a solid foundation and actually being able to enjoy life. Because it's amazing to have goals and to want to do this and that for ourselves and for other people. But if we're constantly living in the past or the future and having all this pressure and expectation on ourselves or from others, or allowing others' thoughts and feelings to um, influence our actions, or what we don't do, then we're not going to be able to enjoy the present moment. And sometimes, in fact, most times, a lot of people would probably say the present moment is all we have. So it's really up to us to decide how to navigate through that moment by really tuning into our mind, our heart, our body, and making sure we are in alignment so that we can enjoy the present moment and that we can have uh, past memories come up and be like, well, that was really shitty. Like, what do I need from myself or from somebody else or both in this moment to, sorry, my hand is really shaky today, uh, to be able to move forward with from a space of acknowledgement and from a space of love, all encompassing love, to be like, okay, I'm hurting from this thing. I'm going to acknowledge that. I'm going to give myself love, and I'm going to say the things that I didn't hear back then because I deserve that, because I am lovable and I matter and I am significant and I am supported and I'm cared for from myself and from others. And that reflection can be clarified in those moments where the hurt, repressed, or rejected aspects of us come up. And then we go, okay, what do I need now in this present moment to move forward? Do I need water? Do I need food? Do I need to just do a little like and let it be transmuted in that way? Do I need to move? Like, what is it that I actually need in this present moment? And then, quite often after that, energy flows into the next best thing for us. And sometimes it happens unconsciously and my body just moves in that way, or I go, oh, you know what, I'd really love to draw right now, I'm going to go do that, because we've created the space for what we truly need and desire to come in. And other times there needs to be a little bit more effort, like, okay, well, what would I do if I loved myself right now? What would I do if I was already happy and fulfilled? And see what comes through, It sounds simple when you say it out loud, but remembering to do these things in the moment is absolutely crucial, and it's what matters most. How we love ourselves and allow ourselves to be loved through the toughest moments matters the most sometimes, and it can be really difficult in so many ways and for different reasons. So yesterday, when I was having a really rough time, I didn't understand why I was feeling so freaking horrible, especially after such a great therapy session. And then today, when I was meditating, I realized it's because I was integrating this particular aspect of me that was split off and felt abandoned and rejected from high school. And in high school, I had really terrible self-worth, had really terrible self-esteem, and I was very suicidal. And all of these things came flooding back and hit me so hard, and I was so confused, and I was just like, well, I'm just gonna sit on the beach and do nothing and just listen to all these thoughts and feel my feelings and hold space without doing anything about it, and just create that safe space for me. I was somewhat aware and conscious that I was doing that, but I didn't realize until this last 15 minutes that I actually was integrating this really hurt uh, aspect of me that just wanted to be loved and well received. And at that time in my life, I didn't know how to love myself, and I didn't have that love and support externally either, because people around me did not know anything about emotional regulation or how to love and support me in the way that I needed, and neither did I. So yeah, it's really amazing, for lack of better words, to be able to go through integrating, and I was hoping it would be more gentle, but integrating this aspect of myself and actually putting the tools and the techniques that I've learned, especially over the last 13 years, into practice, and that it has been so deeply ingrained into my blueprint, into my subconscious, into my superconscious, that I just did it while being confused about what was going on. Because even in the darkest moments, all we have is the present moment, and all we can do is, what do I need now? What do I need now? When we're in survival mode, especially. And I was reminded and had a flashback of when I was overseas, when I was in my toughest times, being like, well, if I'm going to be upset, I may as well be upset in this beautiful place. If I'm going to be depressed, I may as well be depressed here. If I'm going to feel lonely, I may as well feel lonely in this beautiful place. And felt appreciation and gratitude, and like genuine appreciation, to be in both of those polarities at once. And it was, I could probably say that it was actually life-changing. And so when this was happening and I was in like even a worse state than I have been in for the last couple of months, and the intensity was just dialed right up, and I was like, I thought I had come further than this. I'm so confused. Why is this happening? And of course, when we ask ourselves a question, we will always get the answer at some point. And today was that day. So I realized, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not actually as unstable as I thought. Uh, I was just integrating this really hurt aspect of me. And of course, everything that I thought and felt came back with it, with that version of me. And then I got to have the opportunity and the honor of loving every single part of me back into wholeness, and allowing myself to receive the love and support that I didn't get from others at the time. And it's just magic. There's a reason why I called my business Soul Alchemy from the Heart. And, we're constantly alchemizing. I mean, I am. I don't know about you guys. Maybe consciously or unconsciously, constantly alchemizing the past, the present, and the future. So, yeah, in case you're wondering, I actually woke up feeling good today. I actually managed to sleep in. I don't know how, because I haven't managed to do that for a while. And though there was some entertainment this morning of a fire alarm going off because someone burnt their toast in the building and the whole apartment building being evacuated, and the anxiety that comes up when I hear a fire alarm, which even wasn't as worse as it came up when I was in Dublin and the frigging fire alarm went off. So that's changed as well. It's really great to recognize where I was and where I am now, and how things have shifted and how I'm reacting or responding to things differently than how I used to. And I really hope that you can also make some time to reflect on that for yourself, because this is where the growth has been happening. And when we acknowledge it, we get to truly see it for what it is and where we are now, rather than having old versions of us in our mind or even other people. So, yeah, I listened. Yeah, the fire alarm went off, and then that interrupted me binge watching Netflix, and I read an email in between all of that and saw Marissa Peer's email come through, and I was like, you know what? That's what I need right now. That's what I'm doing. And I did it, and I'm so glad that I did, because it's these moments where we get an opportunity to stay in the vibe or the mood that we've been in and continue doing the same thing, or choose a different path, maybe something unfamiliar or something that we know is healthy and good for us, and then that expands and inspires us and creates that space for what our heart truly needs and desires to come through. What a life we are living. What a time to be alive. I am genuinely a lot happier today. Actually relieved, so relieved that I'm not as unstable as I felt yesterday, and the intensity and having the conscious awareness of parts integration coming through today is just exactly what I needed. And before this realization came through, I was like, all right, things may not have worked out the way that I thought that I wanted them to. But obviously, there's a part of me that felt like it wasn't right too, because I know with unwavering doubt that I always attract what is meant for me, and whatever isn't meant for me just doesn't happen, or it just falls away easily. And this year has shown me that more than ever. And so I can trust myself, and I can trust the universe with that, and believe in myself. And it's actually really great to recognize that, because after everything that has happened, I was noticing that my trust within myself had diminished. And today I feel that trust being renewed, and that hope and knowing being renewed, and it's a beautiful feeling. And if you have been having a rough time continuously for months, days, years, I really wish this for you too. And I know that it will happen for you, because if you are watching this video, if you follow me on social media, then I know that you have this ability as well to continue knowing when to rest, knowing when to flow, knowing when to strive for your goals, by really tuning into yourself and what you need in every moment, and being open to receiving pleasant, unexpected surprises, blessings, and miracles, because you are enough, and you know that you deserve it, and you are worth it, and you matter, and you're significant, and you're deeply, deeply lovable. That's all I'm going to share for now. I'm going to enjoy my rest. I just remembered I cut myself off and got distracted with its sentence earlier about before having this realization of parts integration of my soul retrieval journey coming back to me, I said, you know what? Things didn't work out the way that I wanted them to. And I actually accept that today and know that something better is on its way. Because it's my birthday on Monday and there's lots of celebrations around it, I'm just going to focus on enjoying my life, enjoying the moment, and allowing peace and stillness from within me to radiate outward and to actually really allow myself to feel that peace, because it has been a wild ride. And when peace comes, I truly love being fully immersed in it. And so I'm going to just chill, and I'm going to watch Netflix, and I'm going to draw or read or do whatever my heart desires. And I'm going to get food at some point because I don't have groceries. And I need to adult a little bit today as well. So I decided to take it easy on myself and just allow myself to be. And I will come back to the drawing board another day and have a clearer mind and feel better and focus and be able to attract more great opportunities into my life that are aligned for me and get to be exactly where I'm meant to be this whole time. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. I hope that you have received something of value from listening to me share about my life and my perspective. And I hope that I've reminded you of the things that you've needed to be reminded of. And I trust that you are doing the best that you can with where you're at and what you have. And that today, just for today, you could be a little bit more gentle and relaxed with yourself, especially if you haven't been recently and feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. So let it go as much as you can. Come back to the present moment. Love yourself through any hurt, thoughts, or feelings that come up. And really give yourself that acknowledgement. Truly be there for yourself. Be that safe space that you desire to be unashamedly you. And allow yourself to receive the love that you truly do need, deserve, and require. I love you. Bye for now.